segments. With me today, we have Michael, our special guest, Bianca Ryan, Alex, and Dana. So today's topic that we actually have is generation entertainment, because I feel like now entertainment has gone to a completely different direction than what it was not even 20 years ago, but even 5 years ago. So our first topic that we're actually going to start with is celebrity influence on children and adults. So we can actually start our timer. Timer set. Okay, so I feel like, my own personal opinions, I feel like with celebrity influence, I feel like it's a little bit more now. I don't think it just necessarily influences children anymore, but also adults. I feel like it's more prevalent now because of social media and because of the internet. So now it's a little bit more widespread. So it's not like before where it's just like, I feel like before celebrities were just kind of like this idealistic thing where it's like, oh, look at them, but it wasn't something that was real. But I feel like now, especially with like reality shows and with the internet, that now celebrities are kind of being humanized a little bit more.
I think it's more tangible.
Mm-hmm.
It's more attainable than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
15, 20 years ago, if somebody wanted to be famous, they go, what do I gotta do? I got my casting agent, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Now, reality shows, you can audition for one, and essentially, if you're lucky, you can become famous just like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen research where they've talked about how, people would rather be famous now than be rich.
I can understand that. Me personally, I'll take the opposite. I don't mind. I'll take the money over the fame. I don't need anybody to know who I am. But because a lot of people, especially like younger people, think that they're like, oh, okay, I'll be famous and everybody will know me. Having money is great. But do you think that's more of a younger thing though, or do you think that's even with adults too?
I think it's both actually. I think because with children, teenagers mostly, we go watch any reality show now and see people with no marketable skills. Like, is there any reason why Honey Boo Boo's famous right now? Any reason?
She is adorable.
She's famous. She's adorable. I keep hearing about this and I keep seeing her a little bit, but I don't really know.
But if you watch the show, I think they have subtitles. Yes. You need them because they speak in an impenetrable Southern accent that you're just like. And every episode is just, they walk out, she's like, and you're like, what? And people are like, oh wow, $1 million. And that's basically what kids are seeing, that you don't need to have skill, you don't need to go to college anymore. You can just go, act like an idiot on TV, put something on YouTube, and frankly, done.
That is though, especially with YouTube.
Well, of course, the queen, and the queen of all media is the Kardashians. They're famous for what? Being famous.
They are famous for being famous. But you know what? They've been able to build an empire.
Oh, they actually
because of that. Like they didn't have to do. Well, I'm not gonna say what happened or why they started to become famous. But what happened? Well, let me tell you about it, sir. No. But because of that, they were actually able to then transition and become. I don't think that was the best way to get it done. But does that make you? I'm gonna ask Bianca because you're not gonna just sit here and look pretty for us. But does that bother you because you actually are very talented? So does it bother you if you see somebody else that made it and they're, getting all this attention and they just don't have any skills? They're just there.
I don't know. I think that the talent really comes through what you make of the opportunity, and like with the Kardashians, like what they've made of their opportunity. Their spotlight, how they've come up with clothing, clothing companies, shoe companies. I don't know, I give them credit for that. Like, that's really smart, They're doing something off, being famous.
I definitely agree with Bianca. I give them credit too. Like, I actually admire what they've been able to do by being famous for being famous.
I just don't understand why I haven't been able to master that.
Well, the thing is this. Here's the thing, though. What the sad part is because you have so many people like the Kardashians, and you mentioned Honey Boo Boo, and all these reality shows, and all these people are pretty much talentless. It's really sad because this is what our kids are seeing, and they're growing up, and they're thinking to themselves, I don't have to go to school, I don't have to go to college, I can just make, an ass of myself and become famous. So there's that's it. They just want to, they just want to be famous because they see everybody else pretty much is, cashing in on their 15 minutes of fame for absolutely nothing, just for making a fool of themselves.
But ultimately, this is a consumer market, right? So
well,
there is.
That's what they want to see.
Some people want to see this. If they didn't want to see the Kardashians, they wouldn't have a show. So somehow they've tapped into something that people.
We can go down that lane with people who they want to see, and I have no reason. Jersey Shore, I can't. And
they are
on season 100 right now, and I just can't understand why. I'm just like,
and then they have spinoff after spinoff
and that's what I'm still waiting for. Where's my spinoff at? Where's my, I mean, the thing is, especially like I said, I feel like with YouTube, especially, you can go on YouTube and you can have somebody on there that has great talent and does stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, that's great. But look at that person over there. Look at what they're doing. They're doing something that's probably rated R, and it's like, oh my God, look how funny that is. Look how entertaining. Or if they are embarrassing themselves, that's more entertaining than somebody that's actually doing something constructive.
Absolutely.
Like every time I get something that is from like a Facebook feed or something, it's trash, and it gets so many views, and I'm just like,
Well, it's one of those things where the first rule of comedy is pain is funny, especially when it happens to somebody else.
Yes.
And that's kind of what happens. Is there's nothing funnier than watching a guy getting hit in the groin. There's universally. No, I'm saying, but
I'm
universally.
surprised the guys are just agreeing. Like, oh yeah,
No,
I guess.
no,
Like, no, I'm surprised.
Because universally, off the board, guys will go like, "Ow, idiot," but then girls are like, "Ha ha," and they have no idea. But it's one of those things. Universally, that's what happens. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to like Jackass, which I don't understand at all, I never have.
Was that a show? I know they came out with a movie. Was that a show?
Yeah,
too?
actually.
Oh, yeah.
It was a show too, like a weekly show.
Oh yeah, and you had kids.
I think the movie was the spinoff because
I watched 5 minutes of that movie, and wow, that was a short buzzer. Okay.
Buzzer? I thought we just hit DEFCON 4.
I don't know what you said. Was that a real buzzer in real life?
Just
Okay. Well, that was me. It was like buzz. Okay. Well, that's our buzzer for our time. So for our next subtopic, we are actually going to discuss how entertainment has changed within over time versus, like, for example, how before children would go outside and play, and now it's like I go on my iPhone and play. And I feel like personally, I see that because it's like, I don't see children outside playing anymore. I know we just had a family barbecue a few weeks ago, and most of my family have children, and we were on the porch, mirror outside, and everybody was sitting in the house playing PlayStation.
It's because it's because of technology. That's really what it is. I mean, I think I saw something on the Today Show a few weeks ago where the whole family was in a living room together, like sitting like we are, but they're glued to their iPads, the iPhones, the DSs.
So you have everything. So it's like I'm gonna use my iPad while you're
so
on your iPhone.
it's technology, and and parents are busier than ever. We're working more. We're not spending time at home with our children, and that's why. And there's a lot of latchkey kids. There's a lot of kids who don't have supervision, and that's why you don't see kids outside playing anymore. And we have access to too much.
I mean, the thing is, do you think it's even as interesting anymore? Because I feel like it's not like who wants to go outside and play tag when
when Johnny over here has the iPad, the iPod, the DS. The
Wii,
the PlayStation, exactly.
Don't the Xbox like 720 now? Because I think there's a special one coming out too. Like it's just, I feel like it's not as entertaining, but then it's also bad because like when we were there, and everyone's like, why don't you guys go outside and play? Like, why is everybody sitting in here? It was a beautiful day. I would rather be outside any day to be indoors.
Because we didn't have access to all of that when we were growing up. I know at least I didn't. I mean, that's all we could do was go outside and play. Now with so much technology and all the games, I mean, kids don't want to go outside and play because they'd rather be on the Wii.
I think it's just that though, because I had access to video games when I was a kid, many moons ago when the stars were up and I had to ride a dinosaur to school every day. But my mom, literally at 3 o'clock every day, my mom was like, "Hey, you, get out of the house. You're getting fat. Get out there, go play." And I did. I had no friends either, so I played by myself. Which is
this kids get better.
But it's the truth. Like, I keep playing. But I think part of it is
the parent.
Parents are lazy, and if you are a parent, I'm not a blanket statement, so please don't say
It's more than just being lazy, though. But here's the thing: more than just being lazy, because some parents are lazy. But think about it. I mean, parents are overworked too. They're working. Think about single parents. They're working 2 jobs to try to make ends meet. So if they can get a half hour, at home to themselves, while Johnny is glued to his PlayStation, they're going to choose that option.
This is true.
Wait. I forgot my part. I'm all supportive of technology. I hope to see it keep constantly evolving and changing. I think the issue is there's so many options. You can actually create your own encompassing world, and people get lost in their own world so much so that they can't even process anybody else's. I don't know how many times I've almost hit somebody with my car because they're crossing the street because they're on their cell phone.
I'm guilty.
And it's like, you're the problem.
I'm
You're
really
the problem.
guilty with the cell phone.
I know, I have to stop that.
I am very guilty with the
Everywhere
cell
I go,
phone. I
I'm
own
like,
that. Yeah.
I'm like on the subway, like going to New York, like playing like Bejeweled, like the most like simplistic game ever. But it's so entertaining to me. In fact, I'm about to say you're not gonna get away again. What do you do for fun? Do you play like ball in the cup for fun, or do you play with your iPhone?
I'm actually pretty old-fashioned. Like I still like write letters to my friends. Like
I love that. That she just said she's like,
I
I'm pretty
think
old-fashioned.
that's so fun. I feel like people have lost like their touch of like things being personalized, and I feel like kids don't have a lot of patience these days because they're so used to everything being so fast. Like
Absolutely.
sending an email and
I'm a
getting it
victim
like
of
this.
that. I want everything now. I want it right now. And I know it's not right, but it's like we're used to that.
And
We're used to getting it now.
Like
Like
definitely less human contact.
oh my
between
God! Well, of
people.
course, especially with social media. I know on another episode I was saying that for my birthday, I can count on one hand how many people called me, but I can't tell you how many people sent me a Facebook message. And I was just like, no, Facebook message. I got about 2 text messages and 1 million Facebook messages and like 3 phone calls. So
But that's always that constant struggle, right? Technology, humanity, and how much.
And it's hard because I love technology just like the next person. But I do feel like we've also lost that. Like it's like, I can't tell you last time I wrote a letter. I can't. That I just wrote a handwritten letter and mailed it off to someone. I want to do that now. You've inspired me. Thank you. But I haven't done it in a while. But, for people's birthdays, I'll still call you. I am a victim of sometimes, because I'm a victim. I do sometimes send messages through Facebook when I should probably call. But for important things, I do try. It's hard. Technology makes things easier, but then it makes things a little harder. But, I was talking to my niece. My niece is like 14, and I was like, I hadn't seen her in a while because she's out of town. And I went to her house, and I'm like, where's your dollhouse at? She's like, what? I gave that away. And I'm like, well, what do you do for fun? She's like, I play on my phone.
Well, my niece is 6. And she'll be 7 in February. And whenever she's around, it's Aunt Dana, let me see your phone. Let me text mommy. She doesn't necessarily know how to text, even though she knows how to spell and things like that. But it's like, let me text mommy, or Aunt Dana, let me text you. Like, okay, you want to text me from my own phone? But yeah, and she wants to play the game. So yeah, and she doesn't, and I'll be honest, my niece doesn't play outside. And you know why? We want her to, but then there's no other kids. There's no other kids that play outside. Sometimes we'll take her to the park, but just outside of our home, there's no other kids that are outside playing. So she doesn't want to play by herself.
It creates distance.
Yeah.
Like something as simple as going to the mall. When you're younger, you used to love going to the mall.
Yeah.
Like now I go on Amazon and eBay. I ain't leaving my house.
I've had so many people say that they do not like online. That they do not like going to the malls anymore. Like they would rather they'd rather shop online. And I'm like, I'm not that. I draw the line there. I'm not an online shopper.
Oh God, I do all.
I'm not. I will not buy. I will no. The only thing I will buy stuff
online. Or opportunity shopper, mall, online.
Only things I buy online is stuff that I don't have to wear. I do not buy clothes. I do not buy shoes. I buy books. I'll buy anything else.
The return policy.
I do not buy. No, I don't buy clothes. I really don't. But okay, that was a better timer. I like that one. That one lasted a little longer. But actually, I did. I like that one. I didn't. The last one I felt cheated. Like our timer went off and it was like and I didn't like that one. So actually now for our segment, this is our segment where we actually interview our guests. So now it's your turn. So now before we actually start asking you questions, you have to just introduce yourself to us, and then after that, we'll ask you questions. But just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, my name is Bianca Ryan.
Hi, Bianca.
Hi. I'm 18 years old now, and I guess a lot of people may be watching, and you guys probably remember me mostly from being on America's Got Talent when I was a little bit younger and I sang. And
the winner.
I know that's the important thing. I know. She's being modest.
I
know. You weren't just on
America's
Got Talent. You won that thing, okay?
That's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Especially at such a young age. Like that's a really big deal. When you went on there, like what actually made you decide to do that?
Well, I was about like 11 at the time, and I was really getting into singing, and I had been practicing for so long. And I was really getting into the whole, soulful kind of thing, R&B, gospel, all that kind of music. So I was like finally starting to find my favorite style of music and what really suited my voice. And I heard about an audition in New York for America's Got Talent because Simon Cowell was the creator of the show. So I seen a lot of ads for it in the newspaper and on TV, and my friends were talking about it. So I asked my dad. I was like, Dad, can you take me to this audition? It's in New York, and it's gonna be awesome. It's this new show. And my dad was like, what is it? And I told him how it was all different acts. He was like, sounds like a gong show. Is that what you want to do? And I was like, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Simon Cowell created it. And he was like, well, I think I'm taking your grandma up to New York that day. My grandma was Japanese, so there's this big Japanese market up near New York, and my dad takes her there at least every few months. And she was going there that day, so I was like, well, it's right up near New York. How about afterwards, we stop on by?
You're pretty persistent to be so young.
Yeah. I was definitely finding out that, singing was definitely what I wanted to pursue at that age, even so young. So yeah, I went to the audition, and there was a bunch of people there. I sat down, and there was actually a lady with a beard who was juggling these sticks that were on fire, and my dad was like,
wait, what? Please
a long time ago.
Wait, was it a real it was
really
her
growing
beard out of her?
Yeah, it was really growing. It was down to here, and we went in. My dad was like, I think we should leave. And then I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. This is getting kind of weird. And then we seen that the prize was for $1 million, and then my dad was like, "Hey, Bianca, the prize for $1 million. Do you want to stay?" I was like, "Oh, yeah,
that changes everything."
Yeah.
He's about to ask you to
all right, well, I think I can deal with this lady for a little bit.
That is great.
Let me ask you a question about you said you knew at a pretty young age what you wanted to do.
Yes.
Do you think that's an advantage or a disadvantage? Do you think that it helps you focus more? Because 11 years old, I can't even remember what I actually wanted to be when I was 11 years old. Do you think that helps, or do you think that gives you tunnel vision? Is that something that,
I think that both. I think that it helps in a lot of ways because, you're completely focusing on your plan A, and you can put all your effort into it. Especially as a kid, I wasn't in high school at the time, so life wasn't as stressful. I didn't have as much stress and heartache, all that stuff going on, the real life. Yeah. So I could be a lot more focused, a lot more in the zone, without having my total emotions getting involved with everything that I did. But then I also think that it limits you because, if things don't work out the way you want them to, you kind of feel lost. Opportunities like that, they don't come every day. It's really hard to pursue.
Yeah.
Did you think did you have the mindset you're always, I feel with things like that, you're always really excited about it, but you're also kind of scared I don't know if I'm going to make it. Did you know or did you feel I can really win this thing, this is really gonna happen?
I pretty much just went for the experience because they were gonna fly us out to LA, and I know I was gonna get to meet a lot of people there, so I kind of just seen it as an opportunity, but definitely not to win it, just because I was a singer and I felt America's Got Talent. They came out with this new show for all different talents, and then they're gonna pick a singer. They already have 3 singing shows, so I was I don't know.
Right. So you win America's Got Talent. You go through all the auditions, and then week after week, you end up winning. And you're young. You're 11 when you won?
Yes, I was 11.
You was 11 years old when you won. And I'm sure after that it was just a whirlwind. Press, interviews. You were probably on every show imaginable. What was it like? What was that like for you? What was that experience like? And then of course there's school. I'm sure you had maybe a tutor or a teacher on the road with you during that time.
Yeah, I still went to my regular school,
wow.
school, so they were really, really supportive, and they would give me all my work and give it to my tutor, and then the tutor would teach it to me while I was on the road and everything, and I was a really good student, so I didn't really have trouble, catching up with anything that I had to. I was willing to put in the work for academics. Luckily, stuff like that didn't really come hard to me, so I could balance the two.
That's great.
I'm really fortunate to have been able to do that. But some of the stuff I don't even remember what happened after that because it was just so
I can imagine.
much
That's
that
so
happened at one
surreal
time.
for an experience
Yeah,
like that.
still even today, all that stuff is still sinking into me.
And that's crazy because you are so young. You have so much ahead of you. You got a lot accomplished at such a young age. It's just imagine what's gonna happen in the next few years.
Yeah, even like recently, I've been saying to myself like, oh my gosh, I'm 18, I'm too old to do this.
Oh,
now.
here we go. Wow. I don't believe you did
Oh no, I'm getting
Well,
so
then everybody
old.
else here must be super
I know,
ancient
thanks.
because thanks.
Thanks.
I know. This is her. I'm 18. I'm so old. Us. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, everybody just looks down.
Get my
But,
walker.
I mean, I know that. I know you might as well get your walker out. I mean, I know that you've done some touring, a lot in Europe. What are you actually? What actually are you doing right now? Are you still? I know that. No, go ahead. I'll let you tell it.
Well, I'm working on a new CD right now. I know before when I did that, it was a whole whirlwind, and I didn't remember it. You know, I didn't really have a say on what went on my CD. I had to record my whole CD in 2 weeks.
Oh.
So it was crazy. I mean, I worked with like the top producers, like David Foster, songwriters like Diane Warren, who writes for like Celine Dion. So which was amazing, and Cara DiGuardi, So that was amazing, but it's not amazing when you're not really taking it all in and really remembering the experience.
And it wasn't really your voice. I mean, we heard you, but it really wasn't your voice because it, like you said, you had to kind of sing what they wanted you to sing, the songs that they wanted you to write. So it really wasn't coming from that pure place.
Yeah, and I didn't feel like it was like really me. So I'm really excited to kind of be older now and be more aware of what I'm doing and kind of get to choose what I want. I'm actually a songwriter now, so I've been writing a lot of songs and working with a lot of different producers. I'm trying to get a lot of things going. It's good, you can relate to your songs that you write, So
And you live more life.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
You started doing that when you started writing more of your own songs. Like, how old were you?
I actually started writing music when I was about 12 and 13. I mean, I wrote songs when I was younger, 9, but they were like the corny songs.
No, I know.
Like
Those are like stories I find that I wrote, and I'm like, whoa, who wrote this, and how did it show up? So no, but I understand that still counts though.
Yeah, it definitely still counts because you're getting your creativity out there, learning how to word things like verse, chorus, But definitely, I guess when I was like 13, 14 is when I really started getting really serious about it. And it actually started with my brother. My older brother used to write songs for me, and my brother was an amazing writer too. He plays guitar, so he's a musician. But
that's okay. You can finish your sentence. I know our timer. That was a good one that time, though. Go ahead.
But the one day I was like, Sean, can you write me a song? Like, I really need, I want another song, and I want you to teach me the chords on guitar. He was like, no, I'm not doing it. I guess he was in a really bad mood.
Oh, wow.
He was like,
no, that's just him being a brother.
Yeah, he was like, I'm not writing a song for you, and I don't feel like it. Like, go away. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to write a song, and you're going to wish you wrote a song for me, because I'm going to be better than you. And I actually started playing guitar. My dad plays guitar, so he taught me, and then I started songwriting. So I guess everything happens for a reason.
Now, with the emergence of all these new shows, The Voice, and there was the Sing Off, I believe. I mean, there's so many competition shows now. And you were kind of like one of the originals. That was 7 years ago when you did this thing. So what advice would you give someone who is, looking to audition and, they want that big opportunity for America's Got Talent?
Especially somebody younger.
Yeah, especially somebody young.
I would definitely, first of all, you need to practice. Practice really does make perfect. And, how much you put into it is how much you're going to get out of it. And definitely with today, because there are so many singing shows, you have so much more opportunity to, really get that chance.
Right.
Before, people would look at me like, oh, that would never happen to me. That's impossible that you would get chosen for that.
Yeah.
But nowadays, you can really be anybody. And, they're not just necessarily looking at your talent. They're looking for, what's inside of your heart, your story, what you possess inside of you, how much you really want it, and your drive.
Okay, that was actually really good. That was a really good topic to end on. So you can tell everybody where they can hear your music at, where they can contact you.
Social network.
Your Twitter, your Facebook, your Flickr, your Instagram.
I actually don't have all that. I don't have an iPhone. I literally have.
I can't clap though because I do. I just got one though. I had a really old phone because I ran my other one over. So I'm sure my phone is a lot older than yours, but. Yeah, you can actually just give us all your contact or where, like I said, we can hear your music. I went on your website and I was listening and I'm like, she's such an amazing singer to be so young. But yeah, you can let everybody else know where they can contact you.
Well, I have my website, which is pretty simple. It's biancaryan.com. And then I have my Facebook, which I probably go on next mostly. Facebook.com/official Bianca Ryan. And then my Twitter is twitter.com/Bianca Ryan. So it's pretty simple, and that's pretty much all the things that I use.
Okay. And then also something else you forgot. No, I'm just joking. You were like, I don't really use all that. Then you're like, well, So, but no, so thank you so much. And that is actually our show. Thank you for watching The Scene, and we will see you next week.